It's Mary with Stamps-N-Lingers, and it is Saturday evening at 7 p.m. So that means it is time for a video. Let me see if I can get this a little bit centered up a little better and maybe zoomed in a little bit so you can see what we're doing here. I have a bit of a droopy camera stand and I'm not exactly sure how to fix it. Hey, Marva. All right, let's do a quick refresh to see if we're doing anything here. I did see a comment, but I've learned to my detriment that that does not always mean I am videoing. Hey, Faith. Hey, Rosie. Hi, Colleen and Melissa. Appreciate everybody coming. So here's our card for this evening. It is a Christmas card. Can you tell? Because it says Merry Christmas and all that on it. Hey, Debbie. Hi, Myra. And it uses two standalone sets in the September to December 2025 mini catalog. The first standalone is the seasonal tags. It's all about Christmas, and I really like the mix and matchness of it. So you can say Happy Holidays or Happy Christmas, Merry Christmas, and you can mix and match fonts, which is what I have done here, which is something that I really love. And I really, really like this little pine bough. It is the cutest thing. Thank you, Leanne. I appreciate that. Hi, Susan. Hi, Laura. And Becky and Lorraine. And then the second piece is the patterned tags dies. Okay, so these are both standalone. They really do feel like they should have been bundled because they work together like peanut butter and jelly. They really do, but they're not. So you're going to want both of these, especially as we head into gift giving season. I think it's very good that this also includes the to and from stamps, and they are one set, one stamp with both of the sentiments on it. So it's real easy to get them spaced just right on a tag and you're ready to go. So all of this is on my blog tomorrow, so you don't even need to take notes or nothing. And if I have done my job correctly, I won't even have to go and die cut anything off camera. Yay, me, yay. Which now means that I will mess something up and then I will have to do some cutting. Just so you know. All right, so I have a 3 7/8 by 5 1/8 piece of very vanilla. And in Cherry Cobbler, down near the bottom, so you can see where I put it. So down near the bottom, I'm going to stamp Merry and Christmas, okay? And I stamped Merry first. I'm doing Cherry Cobbler. So this is one of my favorite color palettes for Christmas. You've got Pecan Pie, Mossy Meadow, and Cherry Cobbler, and it doesn't get much better than that, at least as far as I'm concerned. All right, so I'm going to stamp Merry right in the center, like that. Okay, and then the second one, I've changed up my fonts because that's what Christmas is in. Christmas and holidays are both in this more blocky font. And then Merry and Happy are both in the script, so you can kind of mix it up and match it up. And then I'm going to find a suitable spot here for the two things to intersect. And I'm going to call that good. You can see it's a little bit higher than on my original, but I actually kind of like that. I think it's kind of a cool look to have it kind of all connect like that. Okay, so now I can put this away and close up my ink pad so I don't do something silly, like stick my big hand in it. Thank you, Shirley. Yeah, well, I don't know if I will sing. You know, the mood has to strike, and it doesn't always. Okay, now, let's talk about what I have die cut. Using the solid tag, I cut, let's put this out of the way. I cut a very vanilla tag, and that's going to be my artwork, the front tag, and then I did two pecan pie tags. Then, using this one, which as you might imagine is my favorite, it is the pine boughs, I cut two mossy meadows. Now, I did not use adhesive sheets. Why? Mostly because I am a liquid glue girl, but if you wanted to use adhesive sheets, you certainly could. So you would just put it on a couple of strips on the back of your mossy meadow before you die cut it, and then when you die cut it, you can lift the back off, okay? But you know me, I'm a liquid glue girl, okay? And I also cut some pieces for the bows. Now this die right here, I am going to confess to you a little something dumb. I made this entire card without realizing that there was a third die cut in this die. I overlooked it every single time I put the bows together. And then tonight, while I was cutting out for this one, I was like, oh, look at that. There's a little tiny piece. And so I've used it. Now, another confession. I did not go back and redo all the photos for the blog tomorrow, okay? But I did take a picture of the correct one, so you will see how it's supposed to look. And I'm going to show you how that is here in just a hot second. So when you cut the bows out, you get these 3 pieces like that. Okay, and I did 2 in cherry cobbler, or no, in pecan pie, and 1 in cherry cobbler. And all you got to do is just use a little bit of liquid glue to adhere them together. So let's go ahead and do that. And really, all I did was do a little bitty dot of liquid glue right there, and right there, and right there. And then you can put your lid back on, Mary. Then all you got to do is put the top piece over and let it set for just a second while that glue sets up. And then if you are doing it like it was meant to be done, you would add the 3rd piece. I did go back and do that so that I had a sample that I could mail to people and not be embarrassed by the fact that my bow had no center. There's no such thing as a centerless bow. I mean, that's just not a thing, and I can't even believe that I didn't do it. Hey, Sharon, you did not miss much. You did miss me confessing that I had missed a whole piece of a die cut die thingy, but I'm fixing it. So then you just put that little piece right on top, okay? And that really finishes it off. I mean, look at the difference in the 2 bows. It just really finishes it. And I just don't even know why I didn't pay attention. I just kept poking it out and thinking, okay, well, that must be I thought it was a poker outer spot, and I'd never even paid attention. So, you know, duh. Live and learn. Okay, now, for these guys, I'm just going to put, yeah, it was just that I simply didn't notice it. I would poke it out, but for some reason, I thought I was poking the bow piece. I don't know. These days, my own buffoonery just tends to make me smile and shake my head and say, okay, God, this is funny. I'm laughing on the inside. Now I'm just putting some liquid glue around the solid pieces and the edges, just barely touching it. You don't need to worry. I know I can hear all of you going, oh, I'd be gluing my fingers down. Yeah, maybe. All right, and then we'll put that on top. I kind of played around with this a lot. At one point, I even tried it without putting a backer on it, so it would just have the, it would look like this on here. And I mean, you could certainly do that too, but the more I looked at it, the less I liked it, so I ended up putting it on the pecan pie. See, that's how the design process works. A lot of trial and error for me. Maybe not for everybody. I don't know. Are there people who can see a card in their head and just make it right out and not even have to think about it? I don't even know. I don't even know. Oh yes, thank you very, very much. In case I say something about like see you Thursday, no. I will not be here on Thursday. I have an appointment in the morning on the other side of town, and it's a doctor's appointment, just a routine one, but it's on the other side of town, and you just know that it's going to take probably be like a 15-minute doctor's visit, but take 2.5 hours to get that knocked out, right? Okay, so there's my 2 tags, and I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the back of these bows and stick it right there. Okay, and we'll do this one as well, and then we're going to do some stamping. We're going to do some stamping. I know. It is interesting. I can wake up at 2 in the morning and think I've got, oh my goodness, there's my card. I'm ready to go. I can just go make that card. And so I sit down and I start to make the card, and then I'm like, well, yeah, but what if I did this? And what if I did that? And then what if I did this? And what if I did that? You can do this or you can do that. That's how I roll. Okay. Okay. So now for our little taggy tag, I am going to take this absolutely darling pine bough. And we're going to stamp him twice on this very vanilla one. Okay, and we're going to come, let's come right out here like that. And then I'm going to get one down. Let's get a little better inking going on there. We'll get one like this right here. Okay. And then I'm going to, oops, see what I did there? Got my big finger on it. Got my big finger, got my big finger. I know, it's just, it's an interesting creative process, isn't it? What you start with and what you end up with, about 70% of the time, they're not even sort of close. All right, now I'm just gonna color the stems with my light pecan pie Stampin' Blend. And I did 2 iterations of this, one where I went all the way into the pine cone and I didn't like it. So I cut another tag and tried again. I also do a lot of extra cutting, it turns out. And you can see I am using the brush tip instead of the bullet end. That just works better for me somehow. You can use whichever end works the best for you. And we'll color this one. Isn't this a pretty pine bough? I love this. We got some really good pine things this time. I'm very happy with our pine pulchritude. Yep, I do know what pulchritude means. Okay, there we go. Now, there's a little tiny image. It's got 3 little dots. Let's call them berries. That's because I'm calling them berries. And I am going to stamp them. Yes, Miss Rosie does a great job. Everybody give Rosie a thumbs up because she's doing a great job. I'm just going to stamp these around a few times, kind of like little doodle dots, but easier because, you know, I'm stamping. Although, is it easier? Because I can certainly make a mess pretty quickly with a stamp like this. That is for certain sure. So we'll see. But there's no telling what they would look like if I did it with a Stampin' Right marker or something. Okay, so that's that. We'll close this up and go ahead and adhere our bow. Here we go. A little too much. See, I did kind of a rookie mistake. I thought I would use extra. Nope, don't do it. Use just a little dibby dab. That's all you need, is a little dibby dab. A dibby dab is almost like a metric measurement. It's just you maybe don't realize it. Okay, now let's go, you know what? Let's go ahead and mat this right now, right quick. And then we'll be one step ahead here. All righto. Okie dokie. And this is a pecan pie mat, so I'm keeping my color palette kind of together here. Okay. Now, what I did with these is I pushed them right to the edge without letting that bow go over. And I staggered them just a little bit like that. Okay, because then the third one will go right in the center and just down a little bit. All right? So let's go ahead and adhere these with liquid glue. Let's see, we'll put him back right there. Kind of line him up with the edge. And then this guy will be with liquid glue as well. Okay. And I'm going to not line him up. I want it not lined up. I want the 3 of them to be all different. Okay. Now we can put some dimensionales on the back of this tagala, on the back of the tagala. All right. You know what my first dealio is? I know, no linen thread or anything, but I did put gems, so that counts, right? I know, but these are the cutest darn bows. I actually had the linen thread out. Actually, what I really had out was the new white and gold. I thought that would be really pretty, but these little die cut bows are just too stinking cute. Okay, so I'm kind of trying to center this up left to right and make it down just a little bit, and then, you know, straight would be good, Mary. Let's go straight. That looks pretty straight. Okay. Speaking of gems, I now had a use for my beautiful cherry cobbler faceted snowflakes. And so I put a few of those on here. A big one, and a little one, and another little one, a little one for your friends. Oh, I see I knocked the snowflake off of my other card. Oh, I remember it. I threw it away because I was like, that one went crazy. Here, let me put another one back on here where it belongs. Jeez. Okay, there we go. And there is our card front. So now on the inside, and let's see, I'll get my envelope out so that we can also stamp it. I am going to stamp my pine bough quite a few times, actually. In Mossy Meadow, we're going to go across the top. Like that. Okay. And then on my envelope, I'm going to just go turn it the other direction because it's coming up out of the corner. Okay. And I don't have any DSP, so what I'm going to do is stamp this on my envelope flap. Okay. Now we got to do some coloring. Thanks, Marva. Coloring, coloring. And yes, you are going to get bleed through if you use your Stampin' Blends on the envelope flap. But seriously, if anybody sends you a message that says, man, that was the most beautiful card, but I opened the envelope flap and I could see where you had colored, take them off your list. I mean, really, that's just silly. That would be silly. But you do kind of want to be careful down here. It'll bleed right off the edge if you're not careful. You can see I am barely touching this paper with the tippy tip of my Stampin' Blend. Okay. That's why I like to use the brush tip, because it is actually easier for me to control than the bullet. Okay. If that is not the case for you, use whichever one gives you the best control and the best ability to color this little branch. I keep wanting to call it a stem. Technically, it's a branch, which also I suppose could be a stem, but you know. Okay. And then we're going to stamp some more of those cherry cobbler berries and put it all together on our cherry cobbler card base, and we'll be done. Oh, I got a little carried away there. I got excited. I got so excited about stamping berries, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. Hey, Tara, thank you for joining. I appreciate you. Hope you're having a good weekend. I know, Sharon. This is what I call a sleeper set. Okay, easy to just fly right over the top of it and never even think about it. But absolutely, page 17, you're gonna want it. Okay, and then again on page 57 for the pattern dies, or the pattern tags. Okay, so we'll just put some of these. I'm gonna put an odd number. There's 3, there's 4, and let's go with 5. Okay, so there's that, and then I'll put them on the front, and I'm just going to go 1, 2, and we'll do 3 here. I did 5 on the first one, and I was carried away. Let's just say I got carried away. Okay, I did, but I'm not gonna get carried away on this one. I'm going easy peasy, nice and squeezy, just enough, little. Don't get cocky. Did you see that? I started to get cocky, and I started to put the red right on my envelope where I did not want it. Okay. Now, the envelope is done. Let's go ahead and put our cards together. Now look, if you are used to putting things from the bottom, I get it. If you inadvertently do that, it'll be fine. But I think it's fun sometimes to, what I'm saying is if you inadvertently do this, don't pull it back up. Don't try to fix it. It's just fine, okay? Let's just put this on here. I see y'all. I am, in fact, an enabler. It's in the fine print of the demonstrator agreement. Did you know that? And I promise to be an enabler. No, it's not. It's not. Okay. I sometimes forget, especially since we don't have very vanilla envelopes anymore. I sometimes forget to use very vanilla, and that is too bad. Where is my card from? Oh, there it is, right in front of me. Because very vanilla is really, really wonderful, especially at Christmas time. So don't forget that you've got very vanilla cardstock. Okay. Righto. And righto. And I'll put my covers in this little box so you'll be all impressed with my tidiness. See how tight I keep the camera focus? That's because I don't want you to see what's outside this little camera area right here. I know. I wish we had basic beige and very vanilla back. I really, really do. Y'all go in and send that suggestion to Stampin' Up. Hopefully they will hear our cries. Oh, I love this card. I mean, that's very self-serving for me to say that, but I really do love this card. It's just so pretty, I think. So be sure to be looking for pattern tags and seasonal tags. They are on like opposite ends of the catalog, but you definitely are going to want them both because this also cuts out poinsettias and stripes. Perfect for Christmas gift giving time. Okay. All right, y'all. I hope you've had a good time. I appreciate you very much spending part of your weekend with me. I will not be here on Thursday for YouTube, but I will be back the following Saturday. Don't know what we're going to make, but I hope you'll like it. All right, guys. Thanks so much. Ta.